Have you ever wondered how to mix your own acrylic paint? Well, today I'm going to show you how to take some pigments that you probably already have and some mediums to mix up your own fun colors. And this is actually a real-time painting of this fun little interpretation of Monet's water lilies. Hi, I'm Ingrid Blackburn, and this channel is all about exploring techniques to make the most of your supplies. Be sure to stay tuned to the end, as this video is cram-packed with tips showcasing some fun techniques. Now, before we get to the actual real-time painting of my interpretation of Monet's water lilies, first off we need to mix our paint. Now, if you saw the sped up version, including the mixed media cards that I put up last week, you can of course skip ahead. I have the timestamp below of where the actual painting starts. For those of you who did not see that video, I'm going to show you quickly how to mix your paints. I'm using Gelatos, and Gelatos are super rich creamy pigment sticks made by Faber-Castell, and I'm going to use some matte gel medium. There are all different types of gel medium out there. You can use semi-gloss, which was the one that I had showed by Faber-Castell on the right when I held up the two bottles. You can also use gloss, whatever look you're going for. I personally wanted a matte look to my paints, and you can see here that they're quite opaque in nature when you first start out with them. They actually dry relatively clear, which is really nice because it allows the pigment to shine. But I wanted to add quite a bit of pigment. The first one I did on the cardboard, and you can kind of see that it soaked up some of the liquid. The second one, I'm mixing my actual gelato with just a hair of water. You don't want to do too much water because gel medium can only handle up to 25% additional water before it doesn't really hold together. So you can see I added a little bit more pigment there. The water's just helping it to blend a little better than it did with the pink that I had done. The pink I had done was a little tiny bit grainy. It was a little harder to get a real smooth consistency. So I found that when I used just a tad of water, it went a lot faster. You don't need a ton of gel medium, and you don't have to mix a ton all at once. You can mix as you go. Or you can mix more, but keep in mind that it is constantly drying. So here's the painting, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm using a sheet of gessoed cardstock. You can use a canvas that's been pre-treated with gesso as well. Gelatos work really well on a gessoed surface. So I'm using a very light snow cone there. I just rubbed it on there and activated it and moved it around with some water. Snow cone is the same color as that light blue paint that you see right there. And if you don't want to color your own with gel medium, go ahead and just use acrylic paints. So to help translate the movement in the water, I'm using a filbert style paintbrush to paint this entire scene. Just wanted it to have a rather organic feel to it. We're going to add a little bit more coloring to the bottom, and I also wanted to help translate a little bit more depth in certain areas, so I added a little boysenberry gelato, which is a little more of a truer blue, and you can see mixing together with the snow cone, it kind of gave a little bit more depth in certain areas. And by adding a darker color, that's a great way to help add a little more of a shadow or maybe a deeper surface in water. We do it all the time in our scenic card making. Now you can see just really not trying to be perfect, just wanting to cover the entire sheet. And I'm painting on a card size. I made a rather large card. It actually turned out beautiful. This would be perfect for painting as well. And just wanted to kind of keep some of that light in there in addition to covering it. Now to build up, it's always easier to go from lighter to darker, but you can add more and more color to help build up a little more depth and help give it that feel that there's some deeper spots in the water than other areas. So now that the background is how I want it, it's time to mix some green. We basically have the three kind of colors. We have the pink, which kind of reflects red, blue, and yellow. But you can see that my green was really on the yellow side, and that really depends on how much blue you're adding. The problem was my blue was really light. So I needed something that was a little bit more of a truer blue. So I needed to shave off just a hair of the boysenberry here. And you can see just kind of mashing it down, and I'm going to add that to that yellowish green mixture that I've got going on and going to try to blend that together. I ended up moving it onto the craft mat, which helped give me a little bit more of a smoother texture. But you can see by adding that dark blue what a difference that made in the green. Now all of a sudden we have a much darker green. Now you can do this and add a variety. You can bring back some of the yellow to give yourself a little bit of a lighter color as well. Whatever shade of green it is that you are looking for. That's the beauty of mixing your own colors, is you really have control. So now we're going to add some lily pads, and just like the water, you know, I'm really going for an organic feel here. Impressionist paintings are really more about creating an impression, not necessarily being realistic, you know, so I don't have to worry about that, and that's really a little more my style. Sometimes when I'm trying to recreate something that is an exact replica or duplicate, which I do in many different art forms, drawing, painting, you know, I get really bogged down by the details sometimes. So this type of style of painting is definitely something I enjoy. I try not to get too wrapped up in it. So you can see here just kind of adding some swipes through. I don't want to overtake the blues too much, and I also want to make sure that I have enough. So I added just a very light spritz to some of that lighter green, more of the yellowish green that I had up there. You can see I'm adding a little bit of yellow now to what I have down on my craft mat. And the whole reason for adding some of this yellowish green in here really is more to reflect a little variety or variance, you know, in color. Maybe I have a couple of different colors of lily pads, and it may not be 100% accurate, but again, Impressionist. So don't worry if you don't really like any of the swipes that maybe you have some weird funky line. Just go back in and work with it a little bit, and you can always, you know, dip your brush into a little bit of water. I don't know if you had noticed that I have a little water down to the right of my craft mat. You know, sometimes if I want to just blend something out, maybe make it a little bit lighter, I'm going back over it with a wet brush, because I'm not using an overly huge amount of water in this painting. That really helps to just kind of blend something out and just maybe give it a little bit more of a softer look. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here. I'm just creating a little bit of a softer look to some areas. I'm really enjoying how this is coming along. But I did feel that, and maybe you are too, maybe you're feeling like it's just doesn't really quite have the impact yet, that maybe it needs a little bit more. So rather than adding more green, because I didn't want it to be overly green, I still want to have that water feel, you know, we may need to take the water to a different level. So that's up next. And if you're curious about any of the supplies that I'm using, I have them linked below as well. You can see here coming back in with some of the snow cone, just to provide a little bit more of an intense water feel in some areas, not necessarily everywhere, especially in between some of the lily pads. You know, some of that green mixes a little bit with the snow cone, and that provides an interesting look as well, but just giving it a little bit more movement with the strokes as well. This entire piece is actually done on a sheet of white cardstock that's been gessoed, but the key is I gessoed it with a paintbrush, so it has actual vertical kind of lines in it, and that really plays into the beauty of this project at the very end, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You can see here again, just going back in with a wet brush and just kind of blending out or smoothing out some of those areas as well. And I did clean my brush in between colors, just to note. You can see I'm kind of doing it off screen there. And I did talk a little bit just a second ago about those vertical lines, and you can kind of see them in the lily pads and how beautiful they are. Next up, we want to add a little balance to the lily pads. So here, just wanting a really watered down version of the olive green that we were using, because in the upper left and kind of upper right there, I just wanted the hint, just the whisper of some lily pads there in the distance. So in order to really kind of get that feel or that impression that there's something back there, I really wanted that watered down. And what that does is it really provides the overall painting a little bit of balance. Not having everything in the foreground, having something very light and very impressionistic in the background. So up next, you can tell that I mixed up a batch of the bubblegum paint and adding some water lilies. This little task actually got away from me, and you're going to see how very quickly. You're going to see that they got very blobby. It would have looked much better had I just left just a hint of water lily in some random spots. So, but I'm going to talk a little bit about things getting away from you and, maybe going in one direction and realizing it kind of works against the painting. Because overall, we have a very impressionistic painting, with the very organic feel of the water and the water lilies. So now as I was starting to build the actual flowers, the actual lilies versus the lily pads, they almost started to take on a little bit more of a flower shape. And I feel like that actually competed with the painting in general. So you can see a couple of them got very, very blobby, and we needed to fix that. We needed to remedy that. Now at the very bottom there, before I did that actually was a little more of what the look that I was going for. Just the hint of flowers, really. So what can you do when you do something like this and it's so impactful because, my gosh, that's a very bright pink, right? So you can just take a brush and you can, maybe pull some of that paint away, elongate it like you see me doing here. Now that's not really factual. Are these flowers really that long? No, but I was giving the impression of maybe there being a lot of flowers. So as I started to elongate this, the thought came to really pull some of this paint away, and that really did work in the long run. Even when something gets away from you, like that top one really did, you can see that the more you pull away, the more you elongate, maybe work in a little water, maybe work some of the colors together, that really will help. And the very end result I actually loved. So I was quite happy with it. You can see here I'm just really trying to pull as much of the paint off my brush, cleaning it off camera there, and now just really lifting. And then I will work with what's left behind. And if you need to, you can add blue right over that. A little water will help. Everything's very fluid right now. So there's no reason that you can't adjust. And if the pink gets a little higher and you can't figure out what to do with it, add some more lily pads. You can see here I'm even taking a clean piece of paper towel and just completely wiping it away. And because we have this great gesso surface underneath, it's almost like a blank slate. And again, this is a very organic feeling painting, so I'm just going to come right back in with a little more of the snow cone, and you know what? We've remedied a problem. You can see in that one spot there's actually a little bit of pink in the water, so I'm taking a clean brush and just working some of that pink color away. And that actually worked. I probably could have made that a little bit flatter too in hindsight, really looking at it and looking at the card that's right in front of me. But you know what? It worked. It worked. And honestly, this card, I turned this into a card, it could actually be put in a frame. It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. The feel of the strokes and actually the vertical gesso underneath the paint is so beautiful. And it really worked with the impressionistic style. I highly, highly encourage you to try it yourself. So the painting is really starting to come together. There's still one last aspect that we want to address, but before we can do that, we're going to add some little finishing touches. I'm just really trying to work away some of that excess little pink in there, cleaning it up. And still, when you're looking at this, and it's hard too, because I'm working on a card versus a painting that's sitting on an easel, right? So I'm moving it around a lot, and I'm touching the edges a lot. So I felt like, I didn't want to have so much white, and especially area that maybe I touched or moved something away. So I wanted to add just a little tiny bit more, of the snow cone there to the edges. So really kind of just working in a little bit more, water movement, just a little bit on the edges, not having too much white space because I wanted to have a real balance. But speaking of balance, now we have all this beautiful color. We really needed just a little bit more shadow, especially underneath the lily pads. So I'm just dipping my watercolor brush, and my watercolor brush is wet, into a little bit of that straight gelato paste that I had kind of created when we were trying to make that darker green. That's the boysenberry there. Just adding a slight shadow to some of the lily pads to reflect a little bit of depth in the water. Again, dark and light. It's crucial in art, but it's really coming together. I hope you really enjoy this look. Pretty cool, right? I have an incredible close-up right here for you so that you can really see those strokes. See what the gessoed surface underneath created? Those vertical lines? It added so much to the painting itself. Thanks so much for joining me for this real-time painting. If you want to see more real-time tutorials, please leave me a comment below. Let me know. I would love to know that. And I also have so many tutorials on this channel that talk a little more about gelatos, but also so many other techniques, like that video right there. Go ahead and click that and I'll join you there next.